Did you guys miss me? I'm back. After a few months of vacation, I'm finally back to reacting to more videos. Today we're reacting to Mr. Who's the Boss's video where he wasted $52,000 building his dream smart home.
This is $52,000
That's
of
insane,
truly
man.
terrible decisions. 2 years ago, we built our dream smart home, but what we didn't realize at the time is we were making some of the greatest mistakes of our lives. So here's where we
You
went
think?
wrong, but then also how we eventually turned this into a home that's optimized beyond our wildest dreams. Starting with the living room. When we first moved in, I spent an entire week trying to find the perfect wireless chargers, specifically designed to look like Pokeballs. These were so rare.
I mean, like,
I ended up paying $150.
they are pretty cool,
to
but I'm
import
like,
them from
would you really
Japan.
pay
So,
150
imagine my pain
$50 for
when I
that?
realized no one wants to use wireless chargers. Every time someone came over and were playing a game over there, oh, for goodness sake, and their battery was running out, they didn't want to banish their phone to the other side of the room just to charge it. Leading us to what we've realized is the better solution: power banks. 2 of these new anchor bricks covers the power needs of every single person on this
Yeah, I
floor.
mean, like,
They
I'd
charge
rather have
phones, they
something
charge
that's
laptops,
more
they've got
useful
this
than
magnetic
aesthetically
base
looking
to pop them back onto
that
when you're done,
aesthetically
so
looks
even
appealing,
your
right?
parents know how to use them. And then we just keep these tiny USB-C cables plugged into them at all times because they're practically invisible from the front. And then, for when you can't even be bothered to grab one, we found that these Belkin wall chargers are an insanely useful product to have strategically dotted around the house. 67 watts of power, enough for most laptops, USB-C with the cable built in, and the cable itself is retractable, so no cable mess either.
That is sick. No, I think that I don't consider that a
Kitchen
waste.
mistakes cost
That's
us
that's
quite
good
a lot
replacement
more.
for the
The
wireless
first big change was
chargers.
the drinks area. When we moved in, we had this idea that we were going to host parties every other week. We had Ciroc bottles and a Ninja slushy maker to turn those into something even more fun. But the reality is, we only really drink tea and coffee. So the slushy's gone. But in its place, we have figured out how to truly master the warm beverage. So for coffee, my learning was surprisingly, don't go
22,000,
for a machine
2200?
from
Wow.
Miele. I got their highest end model from a recommendation, but I hated it. It was so loud, it took so long to do anything, and most of all, the user interface was abysmal.
For anyone who works in corporate, these machines are like your best friend. Honestly, like whenever I go into office, this machine gets me through the day every single day of the week.
Basic for a 2026
But I can
product.
see how
Half
it's
the time, I
annoying.
couldn't tell
I
what
can
drink
see
you
how
were
it's
asking it to
annoying.
make because it just shows such limited information. And it's only when we got fed up and changed it out for a DeLonghi machine that it properly clicked just how many generations behind Miele is in some ways. This thing was the same price, just miles more intuitive to operate, especially if it's a guest using it. And then if you make tea in a pot like I do, the Loka will fix your problems. It's this incredibly simple but cool piece of engineering where as your tea boils, instead of the foam bubbling over the edge, this makes it fall back on itself. So you can leave it fairly unattended on high heat.
For any
and not
Desi
flood
person
your
here, you guys know the struggle of making sure that the tea doesn't spill over the pot, right? But this is actually pretty sick. Honestly, that's probably by far the best invention for a Desi family.
kitchen with chai. And then for any type of powder drink, this is the magic whisk. It means any kind of hot chocolate or matcha, you just throw the milk in, throw the powder in, and this will get it to the perfect 80 degrees C and really frothy.
Damn,
It's
that's
actually
sick.
all froth. So freaking good. Oh my god.
By far, I think froth is the best part of coffee.
And then the way we formatted this all is the appliances for coffee, teas, and powders are on that section. Then above that is all the regular actual coffees, teas, and powders themselves. And then if you want anything extra, this drawer opens up and that's coffees, teas, and powders. This cabinet is just pure
That's
joy to
sick,
me.
but like,
Now,
I
there's
mean,
a bunch
like,
of things in this
why go
kitchen
through that
I
entire
do think we
hassle of
nailed
making it,
first time.
right? I mean, like,
the toaster.
for me, it's just like,
Of course, it's the
put
one
it in a
and only.
pot, boil it,
Serious?
add the...
Oh yeah. You still got it. And the Beast blender is something we got later on, but it's been instantly amazing. It's just seriously fast, like. And then when you're done, you have this instantly ready to go smoothie bottle type thing, and there's no drippage anywhere. Then in here, the
I
Ninja
don't
Creamy ice cream
see
machine
how
has
that's
earned its
useful. I
place for
mean,
eternity.
it just looks
This
like a normal
was
machine.
responsible for about 50% of my weight loss transformation. And then every single simple human product we got too. The kitchen roll holder that's also secretly a spray bottle with surface cleaner inside. The touchless soap dispensers, one for dish soap, one for hand wash, and the bin too. All of this stuff in the entire 2 years
I mean, there
haven't
is
given us
like,
a single
I
problem.
think he goes way
I like
above and
this stuff
beyond for the
enough that
tech.
I've
I'm
actually
like,
bought
there
a
should be
bunch
a
of it
good
as
balance
gifts
between
for
tech and
friends.
non-tech.
Because nothing says I care about you more than a trash can. But not everything was perfect on first try. Like the plants. We originally bought these very nice, hard to kill indoor plants. Realized that we're not particularly green thumbed when they still died, but then found a brand called Easy Plant, who've basically made this self-watering pot, which means that instead of needing to water the soil like once a week, you actually instead just take that off and water the reservoir roughly once a month. And this makes sure that the plant has what it needs when it needs it. So pretty much every
Honestly,
plant in this house is now an Easy
nice
Plant.
for a
We've added an air
non-plant
purifier just because
lover,
cooking can kick off a bunch of things that
right? Because if you like gardening, you like planting, I think the bare minimum that the person should do is water them, care, in a way of caring for them, right? And I think gardeners enjoy watering their plants every week, however much you have to water them, right? So I think this is fine if you're a non-gardener lover in that sense.
you don't necessarily want to be marinating in all day. We got some acoustic panels. They just help to take some of that empty room echo out, but that's also nothing compared to what we've done to some rooms. We originally had some dotty looking LED strips under our island. Those have now been axed in favor of the Philips Hue Omniglow, which are pretty perfectly diffused. But do you know, the most noticeable upgrade for me day to day is the organization inside of each drawer. Actually, I want to have a serious talk about organizers. There was a point in my life when I thought the idea of something like this was completely pointless.
Dividers?
How on earth is buying this whole new thing that actually eats further into your drawer space going to help you stay tidy? I was wrong. Drawer
Yeah,
dividers
these are actually
like
really
this,
helpful.
drawer organizers
Even I have
like
them in my
this, drawer trays like
cabinets.
this. This stuff is absolutely essential if you want your rooms to stay clean, because they allow you to create just the right amount of space for each type of product within your drawers, so that anytime you use something from them, you've created a situation where the easiest thing to do is to just put it right back when you're done. I swear, when you move into a new place, it's like this black hole opens up where your tape, your scissors, your blue tack, it all just disappears into. You'll keep buying them, you'll keep losing them unless you have good systems. I literally bought a magnetic pair of scissors for this exact reason. There's only one place that you can put this thing back. Plus, with the right organizers, you'll also always know when you're low on things, so you can get the top-ups ready.
That's true,
yes,
yeah.
organizers can take up space.
That is true.
Use them well, and they'll actually free you space by just helping you use what you have better. Like a month ago, we realized we were running out of room for shoes. But of course, then we found shoe organizers that let you stack each shoe on top of the other half.
That's useful. I didn't think of that.
We could host a millipede if we wanted to. But now we've had my proper dad chat about drawers, it's time to swallow my pride and talk about our worst fails. Like how we originally spent $4,000 buying an indoor fireplace for our garden. And it's not entirely our fault. There are many companies who will try to sell you bioethanol fireplaces like this.
Come on, Mr.
They'll try and
Who's the
convince
Boss?
you that they're just like a normal fireplace, but with less harmful emissions and less plumbing required, which are both technically
so
true.
any fireplace, when
when
you think about it, is not good for the environment.
On a tub, which, as promised, was almost no hassle to first set up. Instead, it was a massive hassle every time we wanted to use it. You'd have to manually pour in the bioethanol. It was such a pain to light, and most importantly, the resulting flame. I mean,
That's
it was basically just a big candle. Cavemen would be ashamed. Point being, if you're going to get a fire pit outdoors, don't go for a bioethanol one. Get a gas fireplace, like the loom pit that we swapped it out for. It now takes about 30 seconds to get a fire going. That fire is like 4 times the size. And then the reason that we went for this one specifically is the extra tricks. It's got an LED strip hidden underneath, the speaker system inside, and
that's not necessary in my opinion.
Unexpectedly clutch wireless chargers.
See, this is where it gets too much tech, right? You want to have a balance. This is way too much tech.
But even the $4,000 fire pit blunder is small fry compared to the office. Our original vision was this Japanese Zen garden themed room, incorporating as many earthy elements as possible, like moss, wood, and even this giant water feature in the corner. But we've ended up changing literally 50% of this room. Partly just because we found ways to make it even better, partly because we just screwed up. I mean, our entire attitude at the start of this was, we're only going to build our dream house. So for each thing we're going to get, let's just get the best version of that thing.
I
And while
get that,
mindset
but
did
like,
pay off for many things
even
in this
then,
house, it was
sometimes
not the
if
best
you pay
approach
more, you
for
don't necessarily get the best
whiteboard.
value.
In the pursuit of whiteboard maxing, we ended up with this Samsung Flip Pro, and after a few months came to the humbling realization that there's nothing we needed from it that a normal whiteboard didn't offer. And then because of all the tech, the thing's just so heavy and unmaneuverable that we didn't end up using it at all. This incredible piece of hardware, though, we use all the time. There's a whole bunch of small refinements here, like the Delta Hub Carpio has ended up feeling like the final missing ingredient for the perfect mouse setup. It lifts and cups your wrist to eliminate a strain that I didn't even realize was there until I started using it. I've upgraded the keyboard to the fairly new 2026
So it's ergonomic
This is a very
mouses,
extreme
right?
purchase, but the benefit comes because they can customize the look, the sound, and the feel of the keyboard to exactly what you have in your mind.
Yeah, I think that's
Plus,
a
if
waste of
you ever
money
have
in
to
my
break
opinion.
them, then this can be my weapon. We changed our underdesk elliptical to one from Decathlon, which to my surprise has ended up
Oh man,
more
look at his
affordable,
calves.
smoother,
You can see
and
he's been
with
using
higher
that.
resistance
Let's
than any
go.
other high-end one I've tried. And then here, I'm currently in the process of testing what's either going to end up as one giant gimmick or literally the god of all office chairs, because this thing is motorized. So you grab this remote and you press to control exactly where you want the lumbar support to be. This has seat heating, seat ventilation, which is unbelievably clutch on a day like today where somehow the UK has hit 38 degrees Celsius.
Okay.
And then even 3 different levels of massage. Oh yeah, and
That's sick.
a footrest. But
That is
as
sick.
comfortable as this is, wow, it is really, really comfortable. I'm still slightly TBC on whether I want to have yet another
having
gadget
this
that I
many
need to
like
charge.
features on a
There
chair
are 3 overarching
will actually make you
permanent
more
changes to this
productive. I
room.
think it might make
Like,
you
for
less
example,
productive.
There's no water feature anymore. The thing was beautiful. I love the vision, but living with a large water feature inside your house, even if you're down for the upfront cost, it's not worth it. For starters, we spent $15,000 getting the thing fully fitted. It needed a lot more parts than we originally expected, like a generator that, once set up, needed to run once per day for 3 hours. And it sounded like this. Then we were told that we needed to maintain the water with 3 different treatment plans. So one set of things that you have to do once a week, one set of things that you have to do once a month, and then a whole different set of things that you have to do once every 3 months. Failed to do any of that, even a few times, which of course we did, the water goes moldy. It started to smell so bad that ultimately we decided the best course of action was to fork out another $1,000 to get the thing taken out and use the space for a 4th desk, which is such a generational L that it'll keep me up at least a few nights. And not just because of the generator.
But I mean, he has the
Second
money
major
to
change is
afford
that
those
every single
losses.
desk has been upgraded to the Secret Lab Magnus Pro, our sponsor, but not because they're our sponsor. These are still height adjustable like our previous ones, but
isn't this like magnetic?
Is an integrated power supply inside of this leg. This means that with just one cable into the very bottom here, which you can barely see, it gives you power to not just your desk, but every single thing on your desk. There isn't a desk that does this better.
No, that's
it
sick.
essentially gives you mains power, but up
That's
here.
really sick.
So all your messy desktop cables, instead of
like for a desk,
trailing
I
off the
can
end of the
see
desk, can instead
having
just
those
fall
tech
down into this
features
tray,
because, you know,
stay
you're gonna have
plugged
your
in, and become like 97%
laptop,
invisible,
chargers,
even as
stuff
you're
like
moving
that,
the desk up and down.
monitors.
And the other thing is, it's just insanely clean. Both literally, I mean, the thing's like one giant wipeable coaster, but also aesthetically. Because it's magnetic too, you can manage
I said it was
3% of
magnetic.
remaining cables by just snapping these organizers down on top of them. But sadly, the cost of all 4 of those, plus the entire water feature fiasco, is still less than the cost of our 3rd modification. This.
What?
We realized after a few months using the original office that it just wasn't quiet enough. We have concrete floors all over the house, which are really bad for echo. And then these are really thin walls, which doesn't really work with the fact that there's a kitchen on the other side. And potentially in a few months, a crying baby too. So we started to play around with acoustic paneling. We tested some of the more plug and play options like this. These things, they don't cut enough noise out. Plus, they stick out a lot visually. So eventually we decided that the only way we were going to get the result was to fully commit. We got a company called Resonics to measure out and
I mean,
fix
like,
2
the
layers
good
of
thing with his
absorption
videos
across
is that you
every
get to
spare wall
see
here.
which stuff works properly and which stuff doesn't.
Action and background noise happening in the kitchen. As you can hear, because we're shooting this clip on the phone, then all you need to do is to take, like, I want to say 12 steps into the office over here, and as soon as you've done that and shut the door behind you,
Oh, that's sick. No, no.
literally like stepping into a library. Ow.
See, that's what I
So
mean.
quiet.
Like,
And I think the panels actually look
this is a
incredible
place where you
too.
get
If
stuff that's
anything, they're
already
adding
tested,
to
so you
the
know what
earthy
works, what doesn't,
elements
right? So
vibe. And
that way you can make
they're
your
pretty
decision
much the
based
same
off
thing
of his
to our
video.
entryway. This room was atrocious to film in before. It was just so echoey. Plus also, any conversation you'd have down here, you'd hear at the top of the house. And so this acoustic treatment has been an extremely expensive, but at the very least conclusive way to fix that. The gym has been mostly perfect. Zero regrets splurging on the techno gym machines. They do just feel like a cut above any other gym I've gone to since making
I
But it was
wish to
this
have a personal
boxing
gym
wall
in
thing
my
that we had
home.
originally. It was one of those classic products that look great on TikTok that, let's be honest, you're just not going to use as part of any realistic workout. So
You won't, but
we
it's fun
replaced
to
it
use.
with its bigger brother. This is the Bout Smart Punching Bag. And after learning the hard way from that smart whiteboard, we made sure that before any kind of tech, this was just a great punching bag. Thankfully, it has the tech too. And that was weak. It has all sorts of tech. Like it can track your punch speed and your punch power. It can show you how much you've damaged different
That's
parts
probably
of a
great
bag,
for KSI or like
boss
people
in a video
who
game.
are in
There's
boxing.
even these entire workout
sick.
routines where this dude shows you what to do, and the closer you get to him, the higher you're gonna score. Now, if you haven't already realized at this point, I'm a total freak when it comes to optimization. I will literally spend entire weekends looking at tiny little pain points and then figuring out how to iron them out. Like, for example, we realized that when guests come over, while they can get fine control over things like the AC, blinds, and lights using these Control 4 tablets that we have in the hallways, the ideal is to give them that full control from within the rooms. And that while you can buy Control 4 home remotes specifically for this, they'd actually end up more expensive than just using some of the iPhones that we already had around. So because we're in the Japan room,
I do like the
it's a nice
simplistic design of his
iPhone,
bedroom.
and on it, you can see we've gone to the extent of actually writing out instructions for the 3 different apps they should be using to set where they want the blinds to be or the temperature of the room. And this is also a full working remote for the Samsung Frame TV on the wall. So far, our guests love it.
Can I sleep now?
Yeah. I could imagine why.
Nothing was a mistake in the cinema room though. We are literally in here every evening. The second and third screens that
Wait, how
drop
many
down from the
PS5s were
ceiling
those?
literally in here
1, 2, 3, 4 PS5s, an Xbox. Damn, man, this guy's rich.
every evening. The second and third screens that drop down from the ceiling for gaming felt like they might be a gimmick, but I'm happy to say they are not. The only thing we've really had to improve is the food cabinet. Because it turns out when you're winding down after a long day, it's pretty easy to eat a bag of whatever you've kept right next to you. Or 5. So the snacks and the drinks have gotten quite a lot healthier over time. But also we realized, since this has become our default place for relaxation, that it's the perfect place to have access to some wellness gear. Like, we've absolutely fallen in love with these TheraFace masks. They make your skin clearer using red and blue light. These scalp massages from Breo give you tingles all across your body in like the best way possible. And then I've also found it really useful to keep a Hypervolt massage gun in this section, because it turns out when I play football, I keep injuring myself because I'm too good. Just to be clear. And then when we're done rehabilitating, everything just goes back into its charging place or base. I just love systems. But the single
That's a
greatest
nice
L
cinema
of
room.
our entire house project has to be Studio B. Like the sofas. I spent $22,000 buying what I thought was the perfect furniture for this room. It was angular and futuristic and even had LEDs baked inside. So I had this idea that we could theme even the color of our sofas to the video we were filming. Turns out they were the worst things we could have gotten. That furniture was designed for the outdoors, so it was about as comfy as a plank. The LEDs were so dim compared to the room that you couldn't see them. And then because the things were powered, we had like 8 extra cables trailing all over the place, so we couldn't move anything around, which is kind of like the whiteboard all over again. We realized that the entire point of this room is that everything is movable. That's the only way we can actually make different types of sets for different kinds of videos.
This is actually a
which why
sick
now
room if it's
we've
like a
gotten
full-on tech
everything we
room.
can mounted onto wheels. Yeah, even this giant TV. I originally surrounded the room with these 7-foot mirrors because I thought high gloss would make the studio look more futuristic. And it did. It's just, we didn't factor in that it would make it almost impossible then to film any kind of shot without getting someone's reflection in them. So now we've gone and frosted everything over. And then also, we had blinds like this across this entire window
Honestly, like
area
so far, like
stop the light coming in.
the
That
ways
was
he's
actually a
wasted
poor
money,
solution
it's
too,
only for
because
like
every time
very
the blinds
few
were down,
items.
which they'd have
It's
to
not
be for
like
filming,
dispersed
you couldn't
across
actually
multiple
get
items,
in
right?
or out of the building
So I mean,
without pulling them all the way back
that's
up
a little
again.
bit
So
more
I'm pretty chuffed with my idea to sub those all out for giant
manageable in my
acoustic
sense,
panels that just
I think.
stick onto the windows themselves. They do the same thing as blinds, but
Because
they block
that means he
even
hasn't
more
made
light,
that
even
many
more
mistakes,
outside noise,
right?
and then because they're completely stuck on, when the door opens, they get out your way, so you can leave. As you can see, going straight from getting our first home to trying to make every single buying decision in a matter of weeks, we made
But
a
for him,
lot
I
of
don't think
mistakes.
52K
And if you're
is
gonna
too
take anything
much.
from them, I would
Honestly,
say,
like,
one, take as much time as you can
if
when
you've
you're
seen
making
his
the big
previous
purchases.
videos,
Two, don't confuse the best version of something with the right version. And then three, get lots of drawer organizers. You can't have too many of them. Buy more drawers if you have to.
sick. Thanks.